If you have ever said, "Why does my kid turn into a different person when I say time is up on the iPad?" this video is for you. Maybe you planned for just 10 minutes and somehow it turned into an hour. Or you finally get your child off the tablet and boom, meltdown, whining, or total shutdown. You are not a bad parent, your child is not broken, and screens are not going anywhere. But there is a calmer, more confident way to manage screen time with younger kids without constant battles, bribes, or guilt. First, I want you to know this: the system is stacked against you. Apps, games, and kids shows are literally designed to keep your child hooked. Infinite scrolling, autoplay, bright colors, fast cuts, reward sounds, these are all built to grab your child's brain and not let go easily. So if you feel like your 4-year-old can handle screens, it is not because you are failing. It is because you are parenting in a world where screens are engineered to win, and on top of that, you are tired. Maybe screens are the only way you can get dinner cooked, answer a work email, or just breathe for a second. You love your child, you care about their development, and you are trying to balance real life with all this screen pressure. So let us drop the shame. Your job is not to be a perfect, no screens ever parent. Your job is to create healthy, realistic limits that work for your family. Let us quickly talk about what is actually happening in your child's brain with screens in simple terms. Think of your child's brain like a little garden. Sleep, real play, moving their body, talking with you, and getting bored. Sometimes these things are like sunlight, water, and good soil. Screen time can be like a strong fertilizer. A little bit used wisely can be okay, but too much in the wrong way can burn the garden. When your child watches fast-paced shows or plays stimulating games, their brain releases a lot of feel-good chemicals, especially dopamine. That is the wow, this is fun feeling. But younger kids do not yet have strong brakes in the brain to say, okay, that is enough time to stop. So when you suddenly turn off the tablet, it is like slamming the brakes on a roller coaster. Their brain goes from super stimulated to 0 in 1 second. That is why you often see big emotions, tantrums, or total resistance when screen time ends. Here's one thing many parents do not know: background TV, even when your child is not really watching, can still distract their brain and reduce how deeply they play and how much language they practice. So a TV that is just on in the background all day is actually more harmful than most parents realize. And a second surprising fact, research shows that it is not only how much screen time, but how and when that really matters. Screens close to bedtime, especially high energy or bright ones, can disrupt melatonin, the sleepy hormone, and make it harder for kids to fall asleep, even if you turned the TV off 30 to 60 minutes before. So instead of thinking screens are bad versus screens are fine, I want to give you a simple framework you can start using today. It has 4 parts: what, when, how, and with. What they watch or play when they use screens, how long, and with whom. If you remember this WWHW framework, decisions become much easier. What is about choosing calmer, higher quality content over fast, chaotic, or mindless stuff? Think slower stories, fewer quick scene changes, and shows or apps that match your child's age and support curiosity or gentle learning. When is about protecting the pillars: sleep, meals, and movement. Screen time should not regularly replace sleep, family mealtime, or basic physical activity. How long is about simple, predictable limits, not random guesses. Young kids do better with the same pattern most days. And with is about co-viewing, or at least checking in. Screen time is healthier when a grown-up is occasionally commenting, asking questions, and connecting it back to real life. Now let us turn that framework into step-by-step solutions you can actually use with your younger kids. First, decide your family's screen zones before you decide minutes. Instead of starting with 30 minutes a day or 1 hour a day, start with where and when screens are allowed or not allowed. For example, no screens during meals, no screens 1 hour before bedtime, and no personal devices in bedrooms. This alone can dramatically reduce battles. You are not deciding in the heat of the moment, the rule exists ahead of time. You might say, in our family tablets stay in the living room and we do not use them at the table. Make these rules clear, simple, and the same for all siblings as much as possible. Second, create a simple daily screen ticket or routine. For younger kids, visual is better than verbal. You could have a small card magnet or drawing that represents screen time. For example, your child gets 1 or 2 screen tickets per day, each worth 20 or 30 minutes. When they want to watch you, say, okay, let us use 1 screen ticket. Once it is used, they move it to a finished spot. This helps their brain understand there is a limit, something they can see, not just hear. Over time, this reduces negotiating because the system becomes the boss, not you personally. Third, always give a clear warning and a predictable ending ritual. Remember that roller coaster brain: do not slam the brakes. About 5 minutes before screen time ends, give a calm, specific warning: in 5 minutes the tablet goes off and we will put it on the charging shelf. For very young kids, a sand timer, kitchen timer, or visual countdown can help. When time is up, use the same phrase every day like a script. Screen time is finished, tablet goes on the shelf, now we are doing puzzles. Having the same words signals to their brain, oh, this is the usual ending. Then immediately guide them to the next activity instead of just taking the device and walking away. Fourth, use screen sandwiches to make transitions easier. A screen sandwich means you put screen time between two non-screen activities. For example, playtime, then screen, then snack, or outdoor time, or homework, then screen, then bath. The trick is to always know what comes after the screen and tell your child ahead of time. You might say, first we play blocks, then 20 minutes of cartoons, then we go outside with your scooter. This way their brain is already expecting the next activity, not just focusing on losing the screen. Fifth, protect sleep like it is gold. For younger kids, aim for screens to be fully off at least 60 minutes before sleep. That includes tablets, TV, and phones. Instead, create a calm bedtime routine, bath, pajamas, 1 or 2 books, plus a quiet chat. If you currently rely on screens to calm your child before bed, start by slowly moving screens earlier and shortening the time instead of stopping cold turkey. You might say, we will watch 1 cartoon right after dinner, and then the TV sleeps after that. We do bath and books. Sixth, upgrade content, not just limit it. Whenever you can choose slower, gentler shows with fewer jump cuts and educational apps that require some thinking instead of pure tapping. Co-view when possible, and talk about what you are watching. Wow, the character is sharing how do we share our toys. Or they are going to the doctor. Remember when we went to the doctor? This turns screen time into a language and emotional learning opportunity, not just a quiet filler. Now, what are some common mistakes that even loving, attentive parents make with screen time? Mistake 1 is using screens as the only way to calm every difficult emotion. If your child is sad, bored, mad, or whining, and the solution is always here, watch something their brain learns, I feel bad, so I need a screen. Over time, this can make emotional regulation harder, not easier. Instead, try rotating between several calming tools. A cuddle, a book, a fidget toy, drawing a favorite song, and, yes, sometimes a short screen. You do not need to ban screens for comfort, just do not let it be the only tool. Mistake 2 is letting screens sneak into every in-between moment. Waiting in line, screen, restaurant screen, short car ride screen. These tiny moments are actually powerful practice times for patience, boredom, tolerance, and creativity. Try saving screens for longer trips or harder situations, and for short waits, use games like I Spy, storytelling, or simple toys. I never knew that insight kids who get a chance to be bored sometimes actually develop better problem solving and creativity because their brain gets practice coming up with its own fun. Mistake 3 is inconsistent rules between caregivers. Maybe one parent says no screens at breakfast, but the other hands the tablet over every time there's a fuss. Or grandparents secretly add an extra hour of cartoons. This confuses kids and makes them push harder because they have learned if I keep asking, someone will say yes. Try to have one simple shared plan: which times of day, how long, and what kind of content, and share it with anyone who regularly cares for your child. Mistake 4 is relying on your mood to set limits. On a good day, you are strict. On a stress day, anything goes. This is human, but it teaches kids that if they catch you tired, they can get more. Instead, let the system do the heavy lifting: screen tickets, timers, and clear daily rules. You can still be flexible on special days, but make it clear today is a special movie night, so our screen rule is different. Tomorrow, we go back to our usual plan. Now, I want to speak directly to you as a parent. You are doing so much already. You are feeding your child, teaching them, trying to protect their sleep, their little hearts, and their big feelings. Screens are just one piece of the puzzle, not the whole story of your parenting. You do not have to fix everything overnight. Choose one small change from this video and start there. Maybe you begin by turning off background TV during the day. Maybe you add a 5-minute warning and a consistent end-of-screen phrase. Maybe you protect the hour before bedtime starting this week. Over time, these small changes add up. You will notice fewer battles, shorter meltdowns, and more connection in between. And remember, your relationship with your child matters more than any app, any show, or any screen rule. I would love to hear from you in the comments. What is the hardest moment of the day for you when it comes to screen time? Mornings, afternoons, or bedtime? And what is one screen time win you are proud of, even if it seems small? When you share, you are not just helping yourself, you are helping other exhausted parents feel less alone. If this video helped you feel a little more confident and a little less guilty, consider subscribing to this channel. You deserve tools that work in real life, not perfection. You have got this, and your child does not need a perfect screen time plan. They just need you showing up, learning, and trying again.